Thank you very much. Today we have got another discussion. We are bringing you another prolific Kenyan, Dr. Mindoche. Dr. Mindoche has done a lot of community work back in Kenya or back in Africa. He has really done some good groundwork, especially helping the youths grow. He has written a book about counseling. He has really done a lot of work. He has also worked for UN bodies on environmental conservation. So today we are going to ask Dr. Cheche a little bit to tell us about his story or what he actually has in stake for us, especially with the young people. He was there during colonial times. He was there when Kenya got independent. He saw it happen. He saw it live. So Dr. Mindoche is a prolific gentleman. He is going to start to tell us the stories. And we've created a special place, especially for the legends, for the old people who can really train or teach the new youngsters on what is happening, what happened, how it happened, and what transpired in those particular days. So let me bring forward Dr. Mindoche. Hello, Dr. Mindoche.
Hello, Ben.
How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Thank you very much. We are very happy that you are good.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome, Dr. Mindoche. So, where are you right now as we speak?
I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
Or you are in Columbus, Ohio?
Yes.
That is perfect, Dr. Mindoche. So, how did you find yourself in the United States?
It's a long story. When I was young, back in 1959, I wanted to come here for my secondary education because at that time, many Kenyans were being airlifted by John F. Kennedy with the help of people like Tom Mboya, Dr. Gikonyo Keano, to come to the United States and attend their high schools here. But unfortunately, I didn't have money to come. So my dream took me so many years to come here. Otherwise, because I did not attend, I wasn't able to come here for high school, I decided to study privately by correspondence for my high school diplomas. And that's what I did. I completed my intermediate school. That is, I sat the Kenya African Preliminary Examination in 1959. And in 1960, I was trying to come to United States, but I wasn't able. It took me many years. In 1984, I was given a scholarship by National Resources Council based in New York and Washington to come and study environmental issues in America. And that's when I had my first opportunity to come to USA. I returned back to Kenya, where I was doing teaching, and I taught. And then after my retirement as a teacher in 1994, I went back to school in Kenya and did my bachelor's degree. And after my bachelor's degree in religious studies, I had the opportunity to come to America in the year 2003. After coming to United States in 2003, I studied for my two masters in religious studies, master in ministry, and then was awarded a Doctor of Divinity by the School of Biblical Theology here in Columbus, Ohio. But I wasn't satisfied. For 4 years from 2007, I studied for a PhD in pastoral clinical Christian counseling, and I graduated in the year 2011. Since that time, I got married here in the United States because I had lost my wife in 1999, and I settled here. The marriage didn't go very well, and I was forced to, we got divorced. That is normal here in this country. And thereafter, I imported another lady from Africa to United States, and we settled here in Columbus, Ohio.
Thank you very much,
That's
Dr.
where
Mindo.
I am.
Yeah, thank you very much. That is a great journey. That's a great journey, Dr. Mindo.
Yes.
So we want you to have some steps on your education. I mean, you've really told us how you managed to do private studies through correspondences. So who was funding your education, Dr. Mindo?
I was funding it. When I was young, I went to CITC Pumwan. If you know where it is, Christian Industrial Training Center at Pumwani. It was a school for street boys, and while there, I enrolled with the American Information Library, and what you call there is another library in Nairobi, and I started borrowing books there. I started studying privately on my own, and after my CITC training in basic carpentry, I got a job with a company that was known as Michael M. Notkin. It was a Jewish company. It was a construction company, and we built Strathmore College. While I was still doing that, I was studying to prepare myself to sit for the Kenya English test. I knew passing Kenya English test would give me a visa to sit for the then Cambridge Overseas School Certificate. I found that studying while doing construction work was very difficult. So in 1963, I joined teaching as an untrained teacher and was posted in Kikuyu at a school called PCA Rusigite. And that gave me an opportunity to study privately, just borrowing books and whatnot. With teaching, I had the opportunity to join Kejabi Teachers College for training as a P3 teacher. That was the greatest opportunity I had in my private education. I found Americans who were very generous to coach me, to teach me, so that I could pass my English test. And while in Kejabi training for my P3 certificate, I passed my Kenya English test in 1966. So when I completed my teacher training in 1967, I sat for my Cambridge Overseas School Certificate and passed exam. I was promoted in the teaching from P3 teacher to P1 teacher. And for the first time in 1969, I was given a job to teach in a secondary school. And to start it, I started Kanyalere High School in Kikuyu in 1969. It was interesting to teach in high school where I had not attended one. And I have never attended one, and I don't think I'm going to attend one in my lifetime.
Wow. That is very inspiring, Dr. Cheche. Now,
okay, thereafter.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dr.
I just
Cheche.
wanted to mention,
Yes.
after my school certificate, I started with University of Cambridge and London and passed. And I decided to study law. And I enrolled with the University of London as an external law student. That was a great one because it gave me an opportunity to attend a residential course in laws at the University of Leeds in 1978. That opened my journey to traveling overseas. Wow. And I have written a book on that. I have called it My Memories of My Journeys to the Dreamlands of the West. It's unpublished.
Thank you. Oh, it's unpublished yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Law is still incomplete. I haven't completed my law degree.
Thank you. No, I'm saying about the book. You have not completed. Have you completed the book?
Yeah, I have written it, but it's not published.
Or it's not published yet? Hope that
Yeah,
you'll
it's
definitely
still in
get.
manuscript.
Thank you very much. You hope that you'll get people, actually you'll get some sponsors to ensure that the book is published, so that many people can also read and get inspired. Okay, now you'll be
Mhm.
go ahead, Dr. Chiche. Just finish your
I
statement.
have. I wanted to tell you. I still have got another book I have written,
Yes.
which involves my struggles, whose title is my memories, my childhood memories during colonial era in the British Kenya colony. It's still unpublished.
Thank you, Dr. Cheche. KDR TV would love to work with you on that particular book. So please, if you need some assistance, if you need some help, if you need some documentaries, part of your work, will definitely fill that particular gap. We are also inspired by your journey.
I appreciate.
Thank you very much. So
Yeah.
let's go a little bit, go back to the Kenya National Union of Teachers, of which you are a member, and you are branch executive council officer in Kikuyu. How did this organization actually help you to achieve a part of your success?
That one was very important because it started even when I was an untrained teacher. Because in the country at that time, teachers were employed by different employers. There were Catholic teachers employed by the Catholic Church, Anglican Church, government, and all this. And the Kenya National Union of Teachers fought the colonial government to have one employer. This did not happen during the colonial era. It happened after Kenya became independent. There was, after independence in 1964, there was formed what we call Teacher Service Commission. With the Teacher Service Commission, we had permanent kind of employment, especially untrained teachers. And that gave me confidence to study because I was I had full-time employment. In the Kenya National Union of Teachers, teachers' rights were followed, and we were encouraged, to study, because once you studied and passed a public examination, you are promoted to the next grade. And that's how I promoted myself from a P3 teacher to a secondary one teacher.
Thank you
And
very much.
also,
Yeah.
it enabled me to study law.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cheche. Wow, your story is pretty inspiring. Tell us a little bit on how you managed to start a cooperative society, which ensured then later on you managed actually to build a 7-story building in the heart of Kiambu town. How did that happen, Dr. Cheche?
Yeah, we started in the Kenya National, in the branch executive committee, Kiambu. We uh, we organized a cooperative society, Kiambu Teachers Cooperative Society, and still with that cooperative society, we were able to have teachers getting loans, etc. And we encourage them that we build a permanent house that would probably help us when we retired. And we were given a plot by the then Kiambu County government, and we built that building. It is called Murtani House. I gave the name, I suggested the name Murtani. Murtani is a teacher in Kikuyu, and it is still there, although it is poorly managed by the current generation of teachers.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Cheche. That is also pretty inspiring. So are members still getting dividends still to date?
No, no, for almost 20, 25 years, we haven't received any dividends, and we have got some cases in court, and probably we will have to remove some of the directors. And I should also mention I should also tell you, in addition to that, we encourage teachers to get into land buying businesses, and we formed a company called the Kiambu
Don't
teachers
worry. Okay.
something,
Yes.
and they bought a piece of land. I don't own a chair there, and they bought a big piece of land in near Thika, and there is divided it, and teachers gained some. Were given some plots.
Thank you very much,
That
Dr.
was brainchild of Kiabu Teachers Union.
Thank you very much. Now, it's a little bit challenging that you started this land buying company. I mean, you ended up building a 7-story building, and along the way, things actually changed, and then you are not receiving dividends amounting to, almost 20 years. That is very, very weird. I mean, what happened along the way? The directors decided to push members aside, or what really happened? What transpired?
That's what happened. I retired from teaching at the age of 50 in 1994, and therefore, the management of the Mauritanian company has been has been very disorganized. And again, in 2003, I moved from Kenya to United States. But with a group of people, we are trying to get things back to normal.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cheche. Okay, now tell our viewers a little bit more about your environmental conservation efforts. You see, in 1983, you were tasked by the Environmental Liaison Center in Nairobi to do a research on the use of agricultural chemicals and pesticides in your locality, and you did present your findings in a seminar held at Duduville in Nairobi. So how did it go?
That was very good, because what I did when as a small-scale farmer, I found that our people, and especially in Kiambu, we were using some chemicals which had been outlawed in other countries of the world, especially DDT. We were using DDT, spraying cabbages because of pests, and that was very, very, very harmful. We were using some other chemicals. We were using fertilizers, bare-hearted, and this misuse of chemical fertilizers and other pesticides was causing a lot of, problems. Healthy problems to peasant farmers. So after that research I did for the Environmental Relations Center in Nairobi, I was given, on the basis of that, I was given a scholarship to come and study environmental issues in the United States in 1984. And when I went back, I campaigned for chemical manufacturers to teach farmers how to handle the chemicals and their effects. I also had learned something about, soil conservation here in the United States, and I put that in practice in my farm. My farm also attracted Kenya Agricultural Research Center, Kenya Agricultural Research Institute, Kali, and Greenwich University in England, and they started doing experiment over there. They even had their master's students in my farm. My farm at that time was rated the best in Central Province in 1999, and I was given a certificate by the Food and Agricultural Organization of United Nations. Since that time, people are using chemicals and other fertilizers carefully, because otherwise some of the application of these chemicals and pesticides was was causing a lot of problems, environmental problems. And I think now we are producing better farm produce.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cheche. That is also pretty very much inspiring. And is your farm still in existence? Are people still
I
going
have
to your farm?
subdivided it.
Or you've
You know, my children grow up and I subdivided it. I have only 1 acre, but I
oh,
still do a lot of experiment. That's why I do experiment with the youth in Kenya. I have an NGO called Kaiba, Kaiba Youth Initiative. Sometimes when we meet, we discuss about, we do discuss about farming with these young people over there. I have an acre, an experimental one
oh, thank you very much. And
left. Otherwise, the rest of it, I have subdivided it to my children.
okay, so do your children, that's a tagging question. Do your children continue using your technology to grow some vegetable, or what are they doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they are doing very well.
Perfect.
They are doing well.
That is good. That is great. Okay, we now want to go a little bit back to your yesteryears when you were youth, especially during Mau Mau era.
Yeah.
You saw it actually happen. You saw everything what was actually happening at that particular time. So what do you tell Kenyans today about what really happened those years? Because some of them, they just hear stories.
I participated in it.
Or you are Mau Mau fighter?
I was, and I'll tell you how I was.
Yes.
This Mau Mau came into prominence in 1952 when this Sir Evelyn Baring declared a state of emergency in the colony. I was in Standard 2. While in Standard 4, and there was all the taking, Mau Mau all the taking was still going on secretly, and we young ones were initiated into it so that we could keep secret and we could tell grown-ups when the colonial soldiers were seen here and there. And in 1954, when I was in Standard 4, something very sad happened. 2 police colonial soldiers were spying where Mau Mau oath was being taken, and they were spotted by the Mau Mau fighters. They were followed, and they were followed up to our school, which is in Kabete. It's called Shura Primary School. When they were followed, they had learned short of bullets. They didn't have bullets. And the Mau Mau were shooting in the air. We ran into our classroom, and the 2 soldiers came in the same class. And they asked us to help. We were still very young. At that time, I was about 11 years old. Some boys were bigger than me. We were scared because the Mau Mau would have shot them. But through negotiation with the headmaster, who was a First World, military veteran, Mau Mau did not come into the class, but they ordered that children leave the class and go home so that they can get hold of the soldiers. When we were told to go, so the soldiers followed us, and just next to the school, one of the soldiers was killed while I was watching it. Me and some other group. The other one was murdered somewhere at Shura on Kingero, if you know a bit.
Yeah, I know Kingero. I know Kingero. Yes.
And the one that was killed in my presence at an elder's home called John Gishoroge was hacked with the
machetes.
What do you call them?
Machetes.
Yeah, machetes and foko jembes. He tried to kill. That was the first murder or the first time to see a dead man. That one still haunts me. And not me alone, even some other, students. The other soldier was killed, and then his private part was put in his mouth and was propped to a mugumo tree that was along Shura Kahuho Road, and everybody was watching it. Then it turned that the colonial government had to revenge, and therefore Shura was made a police post for some time. Many people were killed, and their cows, their food produce were taken by force by the colonial soldiers. Now, after these murders, I went to Ruko. Ruko is my home area, and I alerted the elders and everybody to take cover because some people had been killed. So I was able to save very many lives. The elders ran away. So I believe I was a toddler soldier.
Okay, okay. Oh yeah, I mean the story is really heart-wrenching, and it's a little bit scary. You know, you are a young boy at 11 years and you're seeing somebody get butchered or somebody get murdered. You know, it really affected you pretty much.
Yeah, I have put that in that book. I told you my memories, my childhood memories during the colonial regime in Kenya, British.
Thank you very much. Okay, there's a book you can see on the on the screen there, an introduction to youth counseling in Kenya, with case studies. Tell us a little bit more about your book.
In this book, I have found that very many, young people have lost direction, and it is a book that I wrote not only for Kenyans. I just decided to call it In Kenya because I had love for my country. Otherwise, it is read all over the world, and it is a book for youth. I have tried to help youth to develop some skills of avoiding implementation of some of these, social things like alcohol, drugs, early sex, and many others. And also help them develop some skills of how they can live. Lives that are productive, and we should lead them to lead even to independent lives.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chich.
Yeah, go ahead. It's a book that has been it has been vetted. It has been approved by the Minister of Education, and it is in the Origin book.
Oh,
that means it's in the syllabus, but it hasn't sold much. But I hope that one day the Ministry of Education will maybe buy for schools, and it's a very useful book.
Thank you very much. So if somebody wants to get this book, how do they get them? How do they get it?
I was unable to give them to bookstores because they were demanding very big, discounts. But I have some books at Kenyatta University. At Wangige, there is a bookshop that is selling them. And I have a few that were printed by Jomo Kenyatta Foundation, and they are in my office at Kaiba.
Thank you.
Otherwise, very soon I'm going to make it an e-book.
Oh yeah, that would be great. And then the other thing is if you can also put it on Amazon, but that's something we can converse later outside of the TV show. That is something really we can discuss about later. Okay.
I would appreciate.
Thank you very much. In the few minutes we are also remaining with, I really want you to tell us about what you think about the politics of the yesteryears and the politics of today in Kenya. What's your take, Dr. Mido?
I mean, the politicians of the independence days or during the freedom fight were very dedicated people. They were not liars. Today we have got a generation of politicians who tell a lot of lies. Those politicians like Mzee Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, people like Jeremiah Nyaga, Kina Jomo Kenyatta, were very serious people. But and even getting into, I mean, things they were not corrupt. The present crop of politicians is very corrupt. They are made of liars who promise a lot of things and never do anything. And it's quite a big difference. That's if you look at the politicians of the earlier day, they were able to bring so many people here in America and Russia and in Europe, Russia, people who later came and worked in the civil service in Kenya. Today, there is only nepotism. People are trying to think of their own. But those politicians of the yesterday were dedicated people. And their politics was practical politics. Otherwise, the modern politicians are very theoretical.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cheche. Do you believe the country is moving in the right direction, especially in Kenya right now? You know, you are talking of, we are basing our question on on what is currently happening in Kenya. Do you think the country is moving on the right direction, as per your own opinion?
Well, the country is developing, and but there is much that I would have liked to see, especially in education. The government had promised computers
yes.
for schools.
Yes.
And if you look at United States and all over the world, all children are digital. But our children are not digital in Kenya. Some are, but the majority of them, they are not digital. And it is very difficult. I don't know how they will face the future, because you can see how I'm struggling here with my digital illiteracy. And those kids are going to grow just like myself. So I would urge the Kenya government to get into the digital science to kids from kindergarten, from those they're calling them early childhood to the upper primary school. Otherwise, we have to care about the children's education. Then, man, that is the backbone of our country.
Thank you
For
very much.
politics,
Yes.
I'm not very conversant with it, because there is a lot of payukering.
You don't want payukering, okay? Thank you.
I don't want. I want practical politics.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Mido. So, on your closing statement, you know, you are a religious person. You've taken so much education, whereby you've really learned about divinity. You've done so many degrees in divinity studies and whatever. So, can you also tell us a little bit about your faith-based initiatives?
I think those are very personal, but
yes,
I believe in God.
Yes.
And of late, I have decided to encourage people to study Christianity alongside with African theology, because I believe African theology has a lot for the world. Otherwise, Christianity is also becoming a payukaling sort of thing, and it has been is an industry
Commercialized. Yeah, it has been commercialized.
commercialized.
I like that. I like
But
that.
and
Yes.
in African theology, where how it was in the past and how it has been, it could even help the Christian world. I mean, could it change? Could make it change? And I can see that some African scholars are taking it. However, most of the books that are being used in teaching this subject are written in the Western world. And they are written by people who do not even know the African traditions and whatever and what it means to be an African theologian. The African were theologians. It's only that we were misled by these Eastern and Western theologies. We believe in God, and we still believe in God. And our theological, ideologies and beliefs should be put in practice.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mindoche. So you are closing short now. What do you tell Kenyans? What do you tell Africans right now as your closing statement? What advice, as an elderly, as a statesman, do you want to tell our people back in Africa, and specifically in Kenya?
I would tell them to take care of the young generation, the youth, the children. And for those that are already mature, I would urge them to avoid, to shun corruption, because corruption is taking Africa into the worst of the graves that would ever be expected to have in the world. Corruption must end. Nepotism must end. And I would urge them to take care of young children, because those are the future, and they should be brought up in a non-corrupt environment.
Thank you very much. Oh, you wanted to have some word again? Maybe I cut you short.
No. I think they were here because they didn't know what corruption means. Okay. And I was trying to think that we should even write books on corruption, so that our children would grow knowing what is corruption. Because it has become, is a subject now.
It's a subject.
Otherwise, it's a subject.
Okay.
Which should be taught in classrooms.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Cheche, for having time to come to KDR TV and discuss with us. You are pretty welcome next time to come and have another discussion or deliberation, so that we can continue informing our people back in Africa or in the diaspora. So we really take this opportunity again to thank you and thank our viewers and listeners wherever they are from the world. Subscribe, follow our page, so that you can get more information when we bring visitors, when we bring people we want you to listen to, or people you want us to bring for you, so that they can advise you, they can give you more insights on how to develop our motherland, Africa. Till next time, my name is Omweri. Goodbye.